How are we going, everyone? Well, I'm out the front here at the roundabout of the house. Yeah, we've got a roundabout. And this is not one that is easy to look after. Hey, Cara? Huh? Does it annoy you? Vader keeps doing his number ones on them. Well, we're looking at the English box here. And if you remember a while ago, I actually showed you all the English box dying. And for the life of me, we couldn't work out exactly. We thought it's water. It wasn't the pH. We said it's Vader urinating on them. Well, at the end of the day, it could have been all the above. So we said, time to pull them out, and that's what we did. Gone, and I've already replaced them. Now, these English box were in pots, and potting up a plant is quite easy. You don't have to do a hell of a lot. You don't want to tease the roots too much unless it's pot bound, and in this case, yeah, well, it wasn't potting up, planting into the ground. We used our planting mix and some compost, and we mixed it all through as a trench, and then I just basically backfilled it with the existing soil. So we trenched first, and that's what you should do with your own garden if you're doing English box. Don't just dig a hole in one section and then dig a hole over here and then dig a hole there and leave a section there that's hard in between them. Don't mind Cara, because she just wants tickles. Dig a whole trench. And the soil should be loose. If it's really hard on both sides, you've got to oversize the hole. So make sure you dig it deep enough and then use some quality mixture. If you can't get our planting mix, get something that's of quality. The best way to do is actually test it with a little bit of moisture. See how much moisture actually absorbs. So you get a couple of handfuls or a bucket's worth, spread it out somewhere in the garden, make sure it's compacted slightly. Shush, I'm talking now. What? What do you want to say to everybody? Oh, really? Cut! Sorry, folks, the dogs always do this, and sometimes we forget where we were. So what were we talking about? Something about compacting the soil. That's a compost, or if you're buying some compost or planting mix, test it to see if it absorbs moisture. You don't want it to be hydrophobic, and if it's hydrophobic, you're going to have problems. So here we've got our planting, we've done all that, we've backfilled it, I've got drip system in here. So that's the backstory to this. We've replaced them. Now the story about English box, well, this time of the year, they need a little bit of a feed, and they don't need a feed of a high nitrogen base. They need something that's going to balance them out. And if your soil's a little bit acidic this time of the year, you'll see discoloration occurring. So that's the overwintering that occurs, that browning off. And that happens when your soil's running a little bit acidic. So normally this time of the year, you would give them something to reduce the acidity, which is basically a high magnesium calcium. And guess what? That's black grit. So that's what we're going to apply to all our English box on the property, which is about 5,000 of them, folks. Yep, and we need a hell of a lot of black grit. So now you can feed them if you need to, if they're yellowing off, meaning they're malnourished. But if they're browning off, and that's what happens every winter, autumn, winter, now's the time to apply your black grit around the base of each one. So apply this or spread it liberally. Don't be scared, you won't overdo it. It will raise the pH a little bit, balance it out so it's not too acidic, and release the calcium and magnesium around them. And that way your English box hold their green for a lot longer. And then closer to springtime, that's when we go into the regime of feeding superfood and some more black grit. Now you can see this is the other side of the roundabout. You can see they're nice and green and lush, whereas the other side, as I showed you earlier, well, we lost them. And sometimes, you know, folks, when it comes to nature and plants, you can try all sorts of things, and sometimes you just don't work out what exactly went wrong and why it went wrong. So, you know, we just persevere with it and continue with it. And in the past, as you know, I do my segments, and you'll see my English box in the background. And some of you have turned around and commented on it. This is not a bad thing. I mean, you can comment on anything if you like it. That's fine. You're telling me that my English box is gone brown or red and it needs to be fed facility with such and such product. Well, I know what I need to do. It's just getting around to doing it, isn't it? So maybe I should do an English box segment every day, so that way at least I feed them all, because that's the only way I get out into the garden. But you can also liquid feed. If you need to liquid feed this time of the year, do it sparingly, meaning only one application. You don't want to overfeed them and encourage them to grow into the cooler months of the year, because that could cause a little bit of problems. I mean, they're tough and robust, these plants, but you know, the winter frost, if you're in that sort of area where it's quite prone to frosts, hold back on the liquid feeds and the high nitrogen fertilizers and keep it organic. I'm going to sound like a broken record all the time, so you know what I'm talking about. Your black grit for now and a nice water, and your English box will love you for it. Check out our website, vasili'sgarden.com, for everything you need every day, and redeem your reward points, folks. Get onto it before you lose them, because we are moving over in the next couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I'm not sure, don't hold me to it, maybe 4, hopefully not. From me, Vasily, Adesi. You're still rolling. Thanks, mate. So, hello. Come on.